Hi! With the holidays right around the corner, I figured this would be a great time to walk you all through my cross-stitch setup. I have so many tried and true things that I love to use when I am cross-stitching. So if you're looking for some gift inspiration, whether it's for yourself or someone else, I think you're gonna find it in this video. Hey there, I'm Jackie from Adam Heart Cross Stitch. My dogs are not cooperating at all. I need you away. So if you hear their little growls and squeaky toys in the background, I apologize. Second thing to get out of the way, if it sounds like I am speaking and have marbles in my mouth, it is because I just got Invisalign. I am still getting used to speaking with it in. So if I sound a little bit different, everyone assures me it's not noticeable, but I notice it. But if I sound a little bit different, that is why. When I post short form content on TikTok or Instagram, I'm always being asked about my setup. And I love my cross stitch setup and I'm always more than happy to talk about it. But I've never done like a full walkthrough video here on YouTube. So I thought this would be a perfect opportunity with the holidays right around the corner. If you're needing some gift inspiration ideas, whether it's for yourself or someone else, this is the video for you. Now, some of my favorite things in my setup don't cost much at all. Other things are some bigger ticket items. So there's going to kind of like be a nice range for every budget. Speaking of dogs, now I'm going to be honest. I have not been cross stitching very much at all in the past 2 months. And that's because we adopted this little girl right here. Gertie, say hi. Is she not the cutest thing you've ever seen in your life? And then this little girl here, come here, Stella. Now you may already recognize Stella. Can you say hi? We essentially adopted another dog because she needed a playmate, which is what they're doing right now, playing very, very loudly. I do know they will calm down and settle down at some point during this video. Now, if you've been watching my short form content for a while, these will not be a surprise to you at all. But I've got to be honest, I don't use them. I actually despise them. They give me a headache. They put little indents on my forehead. Now, some people love using magnifying glasses, and that's great. You can pick up something like this for around $20 to $30. Most will have a little light on the front. Mine does, but it's dead. And these can be a great option if you're needing a little bit of help looking at those finer count fabrics. I know I need help. So instead of using these, what I love so much is this magnifying floor lamp right here. You'll notice I have this covered with a pillowcase. There is magnifying glass on here, which can be a fire risk if direct sunlight were to shine through it. So out of an abundance of caution, when I'm not using it, I just stick a pillowcase over it. Because it's on a gooseneck, it's like highly, highly adjustable to get it right in the perfect spot that you need it. Also, the light is fantastic. It is so bright. This one does not have like different brightness options, but I've never found an issue with that because it's just like the perfect amount of brightness. And I've had this floor lamp going on like 5 years. I've never had an issue with these lights going out. I believe it's LED. And I just love it. It provides the perfect amount of magnification and the light is fantastic because lighting is so, so, so important when you are cross stitching. I have it set exactly where I need it for the section I'm working on. As I look up, glance at the TV, talk to my dogs, there's no like adjusting of glasses that needs to happen. And then when I look back down to see my work, again, there's no need to adjust anything because I have it exactly where it needs to be and it stays put. I have a pretty stationary setup. I will kind of get all my stuff in one spot in my house and leave it there. So this lamp, for the most part, stays in one spot because it is pretty heavy. So I just kind of keep everything in this one corner of my house. This is where I come to stitch. And this guy just kind of stays put. And that works really well for me. They do have lamps like this that you can get that are more of like a desktop version where it's going to sit on your desk or table. So if you like to move around or stitch, not sitting down on a couch, but at your desk or your table, that's another option for you. But if you like to have a stationary setup, I recommend this so much. I love this thing. I've gotten so much use out of it in 5 years. I think I paid around $90 to $100 for it and super happy with the investment. So that's my magnifying and lighting option that I absolutely love. Now, I mentioned that I have a stationary spot where I like to have everything set up. Like, this is my stitchy spot in my home. And I am a huge fan of using a stand. Some of you may recognize this already. It is a Lowery stand. I waited years to purchase this because of the price tag. And ever since I bought it, I have never regretted it for 1 second. I love this thing. Now, it is like lightweight enough that it's easy to move around the house. When I was looking at stands, I really did not like the concept of one that sits in front of you. To me, it's just really big and bulky. I didn't want something that I had to move around every time I need to get up or get down. A lot of the front, like forward facing stands as well, didn't seem as convenient for accessing the back of your work. And that's not all of them, but just a lot of them that I was looking at. So what I love about this Lowery stand, one, it is so easy to flip over and access the back of your work. And that to me is huge, like so important. The thing that I also really loved about the Lowery stand is that you access your work like from the side. So you can see right now I have it tucked underneath the side of my couch. My legs are free. I can get up, sit back down. Super, super easy. I also love stitching in my bed. Right now my station is not in my bedroom. It's in my living room. But I also love that I'm able to use the Lowery stand in my bedroom. I can have it like tucked away near the top of the bed. The base just slides right underneath it. And then I'm able to like just swing my work over and stitch in bed. I love it. Now, I feel like a lot of decent stands are a bit of an investment. So if you're someone right now who holds your frame in your hand when you're stitching and you're just not sure if a stand would work for you, getting a floor stand is going to be like a larger investment. And sometimes that's a little tough to do, especially when you don't know if you like using a stand yet or not. But there are like just stands that sit right on top of a table or they clamp. Those could be a really good like starter option just to kind of figure out if you like using stands or not. For me, I am not someone who likes to hold any type of frame, whether it's like even just a small hoop in my hand while I stitch. I'm okay doing that for small periods of time, but I get so much wrist fatigue doing that. And again, I just really like to have my two hands open and available for stitching. Now, right now I have my work set up on a Q-snap, but I am a big fan of using scroll frames, especially with my much larger projects. And when you're working with a really large scroll frame, I think it's like almost impossible to figure out a way to hold it comfortably in your hand and be able to stitch because they do get pretty big and bulky and heavy. So in those scenarios, I feel like some type of stand is a must. Now, a more recent investment I made into my Lowery stand was this Q-snap corner clamp. Now, this is the clamp that comes standard with the Lowery stand, and this works great for scroll frames. I've also been using it with my Q-snaps for years. And it works. The only issue is the Q-snap. Sometimes if you like just kind of hit your frame, in the right way, it will kind of knock out of the clamp a little bit. So it does work for Q-snaps, but it's not the best. So they came out with these corner clamps and I've seen people use them from the top or the bottom corner. I like using it from the top but that's just personal preference. Anywho, they came out with these corner clamps. I finally bit the bullet and purchased one. It is expensive, which is why I held off on purchasing it for so long. But like the stand itself, I have not regretted this purchase since I got it. And I do wish I got it a little bit earlier. A nice other like little added benefit with the Lowery stand is, at least mine, I think I have like the powder coated metal. But what I love about it is it's magnetic. So you can put your needle minders on here, set your scissors on. Like, I just love it. It's so convenient. I'll just stick all kinds of magnetic stuff on here. Now, I've already mentioned it, but you can see I have my work on a Q-snap. I love Q-snaps. When it comes to tension, hands down, this is the best way to get the tightest tension on your fabric. So if that's something that you really like, I say Q-snaps all the way. They are a little bit bulkier and heavier to hold in your hand compared to a hoop. Me personally, I'm just not a fan of hoops. It's fine if you are. They're just not for me. I hate having to adjust the tension. I feel like every 5 minutes when I'm using a hoop. I don't like the crease marks that they leave. They're just not it for me, and that's okay. But I love Q-snaps. And I have sometimes people in my comments mention, oh, I've got a Q-snap, but it's not keeping tension. Like, what do you recommend? And I'm telling you, every single time someone has asked me that question, I respond with, are you using a name brand Q-snap or an off brand? Like, does it have Q-snap in the title? Every time so far, and I'm sure one day someone will prove me wrong, but so far, every time I ask that, they'll come back with, oh no, it's not like branded Q-snap. It's, something I got at Michael's or wherever. That's why. To me, that's the culprit. You need to get the Q-snap brand of these frames, because these frames are a dime a dozen. You can find tons of them online if you do a quick Google search. It's got to be the Q-snap brand. And when you go to buy a Q-snap, they will be in different sizes. If you invest in a couple different sizes, all of the pieces are interchangeable. So you can create whatever custom size Q-snap frame you want out of all the different pieces. Another reason why I love them. To me, that's super practical. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Q-snaps. Now, whichever frame you're using, you may run into a problem of having a bunch of excess fabric hanging over the sides. You can see here, I kind of like to, fold my fabric over at least once when I'm using a Q-snap, and then I just use the clamp to hold it in. But I've still got these kind of corner pieces sticking out. So what I love using as well is a grime guard. These are just kind of very simple piece of fabric with some elastic in there, and you just put it over the edges and it kind of holds all the fabric in there. The other benefit, and hence the name Grime Guard, is when you've got that extra fabric on the sides, especially when you're holding your frame in your hand, your hands will start to kind of grime up all that fabric. So this helps protect it and keep it a lot neater as well. If you go on Etsy, there are a ton of sellers who will make these in a bunch of different sizes. They also have them for scroll frames, right? Where it's just covering the top and the bottom. I made my own. I'm not a master sewist by any means, but I followed a YouTube tutorial. There's hundreds of them out there if you're wanting to make your own. They are very easy to make. You can also pop over to Dollar Tree or some store like that and pick up a steering wheel cover. Those will absolutely work as a grime guard. Obviously, you're not going to be able to get those in many different sizes, but the general size, I would say this is probably steering wheel cover size right here, will fit a good amount of hoops and Q-snaps. And And then I think the last thing to take a look at as we're talking about the frame and setup is needle minders. I love needle minders. I don't think I ever stitch without one. And they're just such a simple but brilliant concept. So you've got some type of decorative thing on your front. It could be plastic, wood, a button, a Lego, whatever it is. And then you'll have a magnet on the back and then a second loose magnet. And you just take the front part, place it on your fabric wherever you want it. You take that loose magnet around the back, put it there. And then when you just need a place to set your needle down, it works just like that. The magnet will catch the needle and hold it in place for you. Because it's not a pin and it's just magnetically attached to your fabric, it's not going to like harm your fabric in any way. You can move it around, place it where you need it. They are just fantastic. And one, they're super easy to make at home if you're interested in making your own needle minders. It's very popular to use like enamel pins, remove the backing, and just replace it with a magnet. But you can also make them out of like tons of little knickknacks you have around the house. Buttons can be really cute, charms, but they are a lot of fun. Love needle minders. So this is probably the smartest, most practical part of my setup. I take no credit for it. I was watching Bridget, the museum stitcher, and she did a whole video about her cross stitch setup. And she had a rolling cart, and it was quite an aha moment in my brain of like, why have I not seen that sooner or thought of it myself? Because what a practical, wonderful solution for just putting all of the items you need at hand right nearby and then being able to move this around. It's just so smart. Now, this particular one that I have, what I love about it is the top part is metal, which means it's magnetic. So you can see I have all my needle minders here that I just store on the side. It's one of those like small things, but I'm obsessed. I think it's the best. This cart in particular also came with a couple of these little bins that just hang over the side. You can see one I use here as my ort jar. So all of my little thread bits go right in there. It's wonderful. I've also got these little hooks here. You can see I have a bunch of scissors that will just kind of hang. I will also hang my floss drops for my project right on these hooks. It makes it super accessible. I just don't leave these out all the time because of the animals you keep seeing run in and out of this video, making it a nightmare to film. So these will hang here while I'm stitching. They get put away in their project bag when I'm not stitching. So on this top part while I'm stitching, again, if I'm using a paper pattern, sometimes I'll have it up here. I'll also keep like a glass of water, my phone, kind of anything that I just need right near me, I keep on this top part. I've also got just a little container with a bunch of needles, all different sizes, nice and nearby. So over here on this level here, I just keep all my Q-snap pieces down here so that it's easy access anytime I'm pulling out a new project and creating whatever size frame suits me in that moment. Also, any other like accessories I have for my Lowery stand. And then on the bottom, I keep my tablet clamp, an extra charger. I do also tend to keep a notepad of some sort in my cart. This is a project tracker notepad. I will be the first to admit, I always want to be tracking my progress as I stitch. I'm not good about it though. I tried. The intent is there, so I keep this nearby with a pen in hopes that I will be tracking all of my progress consistently. In practice though, it doesn't happen, but the intention's there. And I'll just set my project bag wherever is convenient. Speaking of project bags, This to me is the best designed project bag out there. Sadly, I have yet to find something like this that can be purchased. I do make these. The pattern is not my own. I will flash up on the screen where you can get the pattern because the name is escaping me as I need it to come to my brain in the moment. But I love these bags. One, it's a gusseted bottom, which means I can set it there and it's going to stand up. When you're traveling and you need to like access your stuff, but you can't have it all splayed out around you, like that is so important. And quite often very overlooked in the project bag design space. The second key element of this design is the clear view front, because I need to know what project is in which bag, and that makes it very easy to see. Zipper is important. You need to keep everything contained. In size, these bags come in 4 different sizes, I believe, in the pattern. This is the medium, which will just perfectly fit a standard paper pattern in there without having to fold it up in any way. And you can see there's still tons of space. I can fit a Q-snap in here, my fabric. I'll keep my floss in here. The one modification I made to this design was adding a patch pocket to the inside panel, which is very easy to do, which I think is perfect for storing things like needles, some travel snips, and then I have some highlighters in here because this is a paper pattern. So for me, project bags are a key part of my setup. I tend to not rotate projects too often. I'll really only work on one at a time. So I keep all these bags stored in my office/craft room. And then whichever one I decide to work on, I just pull the bag out. I have everything there contained and I'm ready to stitch. And then whichever project I am working on, I just keep that project bag on my cart so that it's accessible. Now, I am a big fan of electronic patterns. It is 100% my personal preference when I'm stitching to have a PDF pattern whenever possible. But sometimes I'm going to fall in love with a pattern that does not have a PDF and is only on paper, like the one I am working on right now. It is Floral Dream by Nora Corbett. In the instances where I need to use paper, I love having one of these magnetic boards. And there's a bunch of different ones like this you can find online. A lot of them are marketed for knitting and like holding knitting patterns. So you might just want to start with looking for that if you're trying to search for something similar. But they are so easy to use. They hold your paper in place just like that. And I'm not showing you the actual pattern because copyright issues. So just pretend this is the pattern here. And then you've got magnets to like further keep your work in place. I also like to use them as like a guide so I know kind of which general section I'm working on. So I will typically keep this up here on my cart as I'm stitching and, you know, kind of orient it in a way that makes sense. Now, in the instances when I am using a PDF pattern, I've got this gooseneck tablet clamp. So I can put this clamp on either my cart or my Lowery stand directly. And then I can use the gooseneck to get it kind of exactly where I need it. So I love that. And in terms of tablets, I have what I believe to be a Samsung Galaxy Tab, and I'm going to have to look it up and magic put it on the screen to let you know. But this is what I have, and it just clamps right in there. Now, I am an Apple user through and through, but the reason why I have this Android Samsung tablet is because the best app in the world does not work on Apple devices. It is called Pattern Keeper. It's basically just like a PDF reader specifically for cross stitch charts, and it is incredible. I think it costs $14. I don't know if the price has gone up, but that's like for lifetime use. It's not an annual fee. At least when I purchased it way back when. Maybe it's different now. I almost can't even explain to you why it's so good. You just have to use it and try it yourself, and trust me. At least back in the day when I first started using this app, there was a 2-week free trial where you could just like test it out before purchasing it. Um, Best app in the world. 100% the reason why I prefer to use PDF patterns is because I want to use Pattern Keeper. It is that good. I think my favorite thing about it is you can highlight a symbol and it will just show you that instance of that symbol across your whole chart. I find that really helps me avoid like missing stitches, and then having like, when you're stitching a color and then you finish that color, you finish that whole section, and then later you're stitching in that section with a different color and you're like, ah, I missed a stitch of that color that I just finished using. And the dread of having to like start a whole new thread to do that one single stitch that you missed is so annoying. This app, I promise you, it helps with that. It's amazing. I am also a fan of stitching with the parking method when I am stitching full coverage charts. And with Pattern Keeper, you can set it up where you just do like a quick little pop, pop, double tap on your symbol where you're parking your thread, and it marks it as a parked thread with like a little triangle in whichever corner you park your thread. Genius. So, big fan of Pattern Keeper. I bought this tablet just for cross stitching and using Pattern Keeper. So this tablet lives on my cart and it's only used for that. For me, 100% worthwhile and worth having a dedicated tablet just for Pattern Keeper. I don't know. They're not paying me, by the way. This is genuinely how excited I am to talk about Pattern Keeper. It's just really good. You got to trust me. If you're not using it, try it. I'm hoping that free trial thing still exists. I will probably do some research between now and then editing this video and flash something across the screen about whether or not you can do that, but you should. It's amazing. So now I'm just going to get all set up to stitch so that you can just see how this works in real life. And as I'm stitching, I have easy access to my floss drops for my project right here on the cart. I have my paper pattern set up. I will be able to easily glance as I'm stitching to see where I need to go, mark stitches off as I complete them. Now, if I were using a PDF pattern instead of a paper one, this is what that looks like for me. I really like having a gooseneck clamp because I can really get the tablet exactly where I want it. I do always really like to have, whether it's my paper pattern or my PDF pattern, I want it as close to my face as possible so that it's really easy to glance from my fabric to the pattern. So this is more of what that setup would look like if I were stitching with a PDF pattern. And because I think someone will probably ask, this couch, yes, it does recline. So I do like to put my feet up. It also has like a little USB plug right here so I can charge my phone very easily. Not that you need to go out and buy a whole new couch for your cross stitch setup, but if you happen to be looking for a couch, I do quite love this one. It is the Jolene from Living Spaces. So if you are happening to be looking for a couch and you are liking this one and the fact that it reclines, it's the Jolene from Living Spaces. And I think that's mostly it in terms of my cross stitch setup. But if you made it this far, thank you so, so much for watching. If you have any questions about anything that I talked about in the video, please drop it below in the comments. If you liked this video and you want to see more content like this, please do all the good things, like, comment, subscribe. And if there's something that you would like to see me cover in a video, please do let me know below in the comments and I will do my best to get to it. Thank you again so much for watching.